Okay, guys. So now what I'm going to do is talk with you a little more specifically about the activity 2.1, isometric sketching. You'll notice that one of the things I tend to do, both to help explain this object and to sketch it well, is to draw a box around the isometric object that they give you. One of the things that you should realize is that all of the lines that you see on these objects, they're not intending for you to draw all of these grid lines. Those are just there so you can count the units for the objects themselves. And then they provide you a piece of isometric paper off to the side. Feel free to draw these on your own isometric paper if you want and attach it to this sheet. Just let us know. However, all of them will fit on here, with the exception of this one, which if you draw it just right, the corner of the box that'll sit right here will actually hang off this piece of isometric page by 1 unit. Never start on the far side of the object, and always map it out so that you can get an idea of where your object is going to sit before you start doing any kind of delineation for sure, but I'd say even any kind of construction line. Now I'm fairly confident that if I start right here, I'll have enough room, but let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still on the grid page, and if you'll notice, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 units wide. You'll also notice that I'm not worried about the fact that I went up. I didn't count when I went up. I'm only doing that so that I can still count a grid line whenever I'm counting over width. So if I start here, I would have enough space. If I start here, 1, 2, 3, I'd be off the grid lines. If I start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I really have enough space. So let's see if I put a point there and I put a point here. And how many units up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. Now, if I put a point here and I start that corner right here, I go 6 units up, so far that's still fitting, but then I have to go 2 units deep. 1, 2, and I'm off the grid lines. So I'm going to bring this over back to that original spot so that I can plan this out properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back 2 units, 1, 2. From here and from here, I'll go 4 units toward the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll go up 6 units from here, or I'll come over 4 units from here, and I'll find that they intersect at the same spot there. Just to help you out, I'll show you that front face of the box sits right here. I'm going to make this just a little darker just so you can see it in the video. Okay, so now I want to think about depth. I went 2 here, so I'll go 2 from here, 2 from here, connect that together. Pretty light construction lines. But again, I'll make mine a little darker than you probably should so that they'll show up in the video. I'll connect this point and this one together, height, vertical line, and I'll connect these two together with the width line, moving at that 120 angle previously discussed. So there's the box this object is going to fit inside of. I need to remember that this edge and this one here, continuing up through here as construction line, are parallel. This one and this one are also parallel to each other. These two inside parts of the A, they'll actually touch at this point. Now this point is 2 units from either corner on the top of the front. So that's kind of an important spot. Let's mark that off. There it is. And they start 1 unit from this point here on the far left. And over here, this one, he starts 1 unit from that far right on the front. That means that this line has a slope of 6. It has, for rise over run, a rise of 6 and a run of 1. 6 over 1 being a slope of 6. So I'll start at this point, pivot, construction line, real light construction, very, very light. See if that helps see it better. Another construction line from here. A little off my mark. I'm going to draw that one again. So by drawing the construction lines help out significantly. I'll do the same thing from this point. Here and here, those lines will meet 1 unit in instead of 2 on the top. Here, here. And right now it looks like I just go up and down a whole bunch at an angle. But I don't. I also want to identify that this edge and this edge are very important. This third edge up here, although very tiny, is probably the most commonly missed one next to this edge and this one, which are also often missed by students. Now, if we start at the bottom of the front and we go up 2 units, draw a horizontal line. Excuse me, not a horizontal. Draw a width line. Doesn't move horizontally. Real light construction line, just dark enough that you guys can see it on the video though. I'll come up 1 unit from that line that I just drew. Mark that off. And then I'll come 1 unit down from the top on the front. Here's the top edge on the front, and I'll come 1 unit down. Now to make that front-faced A, I have every line I need. Let me show you. I'll delineate here. And then this edge. I'll delineate across the top. Just between those 2 points that I just connected from top to bottom. I'll delineate down here. And I'll pick up my pencil and I'll delineate here. Now when I start at this point, I'm going to come up and finish here, pick up my pencil, start here, and continue up to this point here. Again, on my sketch, that would be here, pick up my pencil, start here, and finish here. Pick up my pencil, start, finish. Here, I'll do the same thing. Start here, pick up my pencil here, start here, finish here. Start here, pick up my pencil here, start here, pick up my pencil, or excuse me, continue my line and finish here. Connect these 2 points and these 2 points with a width line. It's already there as a construction, you just need it as an object. And you'll notice that this top one, very tiny, is the same way. Now watch what happens if I just gently erase these. Now I would encourage you to leave them, because when you delineate or when you tonal shade, they'll have a tendency to go away. You won't really notice them. But for the purposes of this video, I want to show you that that makes that A shape rather nicely. So what's left is for me to do the top and the side. Now, starting here, it's simply a matter of going back until I get to the back edge of the box. Same thing for this one. And this one's already done, I just need to delineate it. Once I find this point, which is easy for me to do, here to here, and I find this point, I can do a rise of 6 and a run of 1 and find that angled line that I started with on the front face. This is technically considered an interior face, whereas this is considered top surface face. Construction line there, and then delineate it once I know it's in the right place. And this one is already a construction line. So there's my top face, and that right side canted, chamfered, slanted, angled, non-parallel face. Not a surface, but more of an interior. Notice I delineated that bottom edge. My other interior edges are the ones that are commonly missed here and here. Keep in mind, this edge is not really an edge, but rather a grid line. This one doesn't actually fall on the grid lines, but it does start right there. Right there. And it stays as parallel as I can be to the rest of the grid lines. And it stops just as it moves back behind this part of the A. Since I don't see it, I don't draw the rest of it. Delineate it because I liked it. This one is on a grid line, and we'll go back almost 2 diagonal units to here. But really it's until it's no longer seen, until it stops. I'll delineate that nice and dark. Tonal shading's trickier. In this case, I'm going to make the front face 3 layers, and most common mistake that students will make is that they don't draw vertical lines. Have a tendency to try and make them parallel, and that's understandable, but you want to avoid that when you can. Most of this A is not following the grid lines. That's why I chose it as an example out of these 3 to show you how to do. Actually, the easiest object out of all 3 of them, once you understand how to draw it. Most students mess this one up royally. Got my vertical lines. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to add an extra one right here. I'm going to come in and add in some angled lines. And I would continue this, adding depth lines after the width lines to give that 3rd layer. In case I don't finish this before the video ends. And then of course don't forget, clean up your tonal shading and redelineate anything just to show you what it would look like with some 3rd layer. Try to make them as parallel to the depth lines as possible.